part of what we don't make time for after that period of rejuvenation, healing, and connection to self is the integration into our 3D lives. This is something that I myself have experienced in terms of being able to really take a look at parts of my three-dimensional life that I have been neglecting over the course of this particular chapter of my spiritual awakening. It can be very easy once you find your center and your balance and you've gotten to a place of peace in your awakening process, where when you're by yourself, things are great. When you are around other like energy people, things are wonderful and aligned, and you're in the flow and everything just is wonderful. But what happens when you start connecting to those people, places, and experiences that are not so aligned? How do you handle those then? And this is a really big test. This is a really big part of our process, because being in your beautifully balanced state while being alone or being with other like energy souls is easy. Once you get there, it's easy. Being with people who are challenging to you, people who are giving you all kinds of contrast, that is where the good stuff is. Welcome to the Akashic Recordings. My name is Annette Deleu. I'm an Akashic conduit, channel, and spiritual guidance coach. What you will be hearing today is a real session with one of my clients. All the names have been changed for privacy, and of course, with their permission, we are privileged to hear these beautiful stories to allow us a small glimpse into the Akashic Records. If you would like to book a session with me and be part of the podcast, please feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. When you book your session, just make sure to check the box that you would be interested in having your session utilized for the podcast. For those of you who really wanted to sign up for Soul Discovery Workshop, I have great news for you. You can head to my website, and on the homepage, if you go to the little box that describes Soul Discovery Workshop, there is a button there that says sign up for the wait list. So if you want to be in the know and want to be the very first one to sign up for the next session of Soul Discovery Workshop online, feel free to head to my website at infinitesoullove.com. Go to that homepage, click sign up for the wait list, and send your email, phone number, as well as your first and last name. And I will make sure you get that registration email as soon as the next course is ready to launch. In addition, you will get a discount code for the early bird sign up. So if you are interested, head over there now. Once again, we are back with another session with Chloe. This particular session, we start refining some of the messages that she received in one of the first sessions we had together, which was aired on the podcast 2 weeks ago. She has now been through a lot of the spiritual growth that was talked about in that last session. She went to South America and did that exploration, and upon returning, realized that the job she had was not aligned anymore. And this was something she had an inkling about beforehand, but now it became very, very clear. So this session, we start to talk about some of the changes that are happening in her life based on this new spiritual growth, in addition to the ways in which she is changing in her environment, in her relationships, as well as her relationship to herself, and how she's connecting more to the soul that she is, and how all of these things can start to work together. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. It's so good to hear your voice.
Likewise. How have you been?
Oh my goodness, Annette. You sent me on a trip for sure.
Yay?
Yay, for sure. I mean, the duality of life. It's like, wee, and then it's like, oh no. So,
100%. I totally get that.
yeah. I'm like at the oh no part.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So tell me what's going on.
So last time we talked, I was on a boat and I was like hating my life and hating my job, which was on a boat. And we had talked about Ayampe, like going to Ecuador, I mean. And
Yes.
there was just so much that was saying yes. So I ended up going and I spent 6 months down there and just really opened myself up to a whole new side of spirituality and life and being and simplicity and slowness. And it was beautiful.
Incredible.
Yeah, it was amazing. It really was. When I ended up leaving, I had like kind of reverse culture shock, but I was like so open and everything was just so hard to deal with. Like even walking into the apartment building, it felt like the Wi-Fi was literally pushing me down, if that makes sense.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so I just like, I kind of got into like hermit mode just because I couldn't understand or deal with like all the intensity that was happening around me. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to strike a balance because when I was down there, I had like a really long morning routine because I was able to because I wasn't working. So I would, for 4 hours a day, be meditating, doing yoga, breath work, and energy release. And then throughout the day, I was clearing my energy. So it was really this like, I felt like an open container. And I really felt like that was like my true state of being. And like, that's where I wanted to be at. Everything just flowed, you know, it was just beautiful. Like every day was just so great.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, but you know, that's like a lot of work and a lot of time. So coming back, I haven't been able to do that. And I also feel like my life has started to kind of like fall apart again. Now I'm dealing with a lot of the same issues that I was dealing with before I went to Ecuador, but they're like worse now. And I'm going to try and explain this in a way where I get to this like the end of this is coherent and it's one small thing, but getting there is like a lot of branches. So I'm going to take the branches, I'm going to try and put it together. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Just go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so when we talked last, you had said something about potentially my Kundalini awakening, but I don't even know what that means, and I don't really know what that is. Since I think about like, I've always been able to feel the presence of things around me, but I blocked it off for a really long time. And within the last like 2 years or so, been feeling it a lot more. And things like watching spirits walk through hallways or like seeing shapes flying around or like bright lights, like just flashing, sleep paralysis and voices. So I'm like doing all that good stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Okay. And I'm afraid of it too. So like when I'm doing my meditation and everything like that, I am more tuned into that and it's happening more often. And when I'm not doing the meditation and the yoga and things like that, it's not happening, which I feel like relief from. But what is happening on the other side is basically like my 3D life is kind of falling apart, it feels like my physical body, I'm in a lot of pain, like, and it's all kind of around my hips, my back, my lower stomach, and I have pelvic floor dysfunction, which is something that I'm actually quite concerned with. And then the other thing is that and so here's another branch, is that I was diagnosed with CPTSD, which kind of helps me to understand the intense emotions that I'm always experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
but not on a soul level, just like in this life. Another branch is that I have had a lot of, well, not a lot, a fair bit of sexual abuse. And I am starting to uncover maybe potentially more that happened to me, not as a young adult, but as a child. And so then another branch, sorry, I'm getting to it, I promise.
No, 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 no. I mean, this is all super important. So continue.
Okay, thank you. And then another branch is that my trajectory in life is pushing me, forcing me into doing something like that. I'm guided with my heart and I'm guided with my intuition and I'm not using my mind that much. And transitioning into that type of work is, it's like there aren't any roadblocks and the universe is like telling me like stop thinking, stop doing, and start creating. But there is like a block there.
Okay.
And then the final branch would just be like, how is my current partner either affecting this or not affecting this? And all of these branches are coming back to what I think is an issue in my sacral chakra.
Okay. We'll take a look at that. So there are a lot of things that are sort of compounding on each other. What's happening is as you are focusing more on your spiritual life, your three-dimensional life starts to fall apart. That's really, really common and super, how do I even put this? It's like they go hand in hand, because the more you're connecting to your spiritual life, the more you start to recognize the things in your 3D life that aren't working and that aren't actually serving you anymore. And so the clearing is almost welcoming the tower moment, the collapse of the things that don't serve you. When we ask for growth and when we ask for moving into new frequencies, yes, we're asking for that beautiful new energy to come in. But before that beautiful new energy can come in, the old has to die away. The old dying away is a multitude of avenues. It can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be as you're experiencing things that you are uncovering that maybe you had blocked out or maybe you were not conscious of as an adult. I have had clients in the past where they were not aware of sexual abuse that happened when they were children, and then it just all came out, either in the Akashic records or it came out in their own meditations, or it's come out in various different ways. So that can happen. And when that does happen, those things that have been stored, those energies that have been stored within the body, start to wake up and get dislodged. And when they get dislodged, they're basically asking you to release them. And so the pains that you're feeling in your body are not surprising in any way, given everything that you've been doing. Okay.
Okay.
There are other things that are coming into play. There's a balance that needs to be had. I understand, because I'm 100% in the same boat where I need my long morning routine. It takes me a very long time to wake up in the morning. I can't just like jump into my body and just go, go, go. Like I have to very leisurely do the things that I need to do in the morning, meditate, have breakfast, meditate some more, maybe just look at my phone, check some emails, maybe do that. But like it's slow. That's something that I do require. And I have come to terms with the fact that that's what I require. And that's okay. And so I've built my life around the fact that that's what I must do. Now, it just so happens that it's beneficial for me because a lot of my clients are in the US, I'm in Europe, so I can have that time. Even if you feel like you can't, you can ask the universe to create a situation where you can have that time.
Yeah.
The aspect that is coming into my intuition right now is actually your partner. And my question about that is, does your partner share the same need for the morning routine, for the languid sort of version of the morning routine?
Oh, absolutely.
Good.
I mean, not currently because both of our lives are upside down, but like in an ideal world, yes, both of us are doing that. Yeah.
Good. When it comes to that type of alignment, that is really, really beautiful. Okay.
Yeah.
The balance that needs to be had is when you focus on that meditative space, when you focus on your spiritual life, sometimes we can actually ignore our three-dimensional life. This is a period of time where you can practice a little bit and see, okay, well, how much of this is me actually just ignoring my three-dimensional life? And how much is this me realizing that things in my three-dimensional life are not aligned? And that's something that you need to really kind of assess and take a look at, because sometimes it is that we're just like, oh, we're just not going to pay attention to the three-dimensional life anymore because I like the five-dimensional life and it's so much better, which, yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
But then if we ignore our three-dimensional life, then basically it just gets a lot harder. So one of the things that I've noticed is that small menial tasks that are annoying become bigger. Things that used to just slightly annoy me, all of a sudden now those things are things that could bring me to tears. Okay. And it's simply because you're so used to being in the flow when you're in your meditative state. When you are in the three-dimensional life, not everything is always in the flow. right? You've got obstacles, you've got all kinds of things that happen in the 3D life. And oftentimes we just want to ignore them, but you don't have to ignore them. What you can do is you can ask your angels and guides for help with whatever it is that you're trying to deal with, or focus your attention on something else for the time being and come back to it a later time, that kind of thing. So it's about like kind of learning how to be in the flow in the 3D life amidst all of the blocks or obstacles that get thrown your way that are just sort of the general part of living. Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. My boyfriend has been saying a lot lately, like, you can't always get what you want. Like, why are you so upset that this isn't going your way? And I'm like, because like I'm used to something different. Like this shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah. So are these little things that aren't going your way, or are they big things?
I think that it's like little things, but I think that the upset is coming from the bigger things.
Okay.
And like the bigger things being just like, I just don't feel like I have any control over like the trajectory of my life or like the state of my body, even, or like my relationship with my significant other right now. Like since I've been back in the United States, I swear to God, it's been like 3 or 4 months and it's been a blur for me. And I've spent most of it just, I think I went through like 3 dark nights of the soul in like the smallest amount of time and like reverted back to, even at certain parts of the intensity, just reverting back to being an infant and like seeing the trauma that I had when I was that young. And so it's like, it's really just like all, I don't know. And also the collective, like feeling that like heaviness and darkness. So I was kind of like in a hermit mode, honestly, on my yoga mat for days at a time, just like crying and releasing. And it's just been so difficult. And now I'm just trying to stand back up again and be like, wait, what was that? What happened? You know? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. It really does. We are going to open the records because I do want to take a look at some of these things to see if we can explore them. And we'll take a look at what might be going on with your sacral chakra. On a semi-personal note, I also have been dealing with pelvic floor dysfunction, which is very interesting that you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
And I found a bunch of videos of exercises that I've been doing that have been working really, really well.
Oh, okay.
I'll send you those YouTube videos when we're done with the call.
Oh, Annette, that's great.
Yeah. Going to a physical therapist, I think, can help as well because I've been looking at that. But like, I'm traveling right now. So I'm kind of like, I think I just need to do this for myself and see if I can even just move the needle a little bit and then move forward.
That's exactly where I'm at.
Basically, a lot of this has to do with the sacral chakra as well. It's the same area, right?
Yeah.
It's something that you could be dealing with in terms of everything that you've been uncovering with what happened in your childhood and that sort of thing. Okay. So what other things in your life are sort of falling apart, like in your 3-dimensional life?
Oh yeah, no, I think it's just like everything. I mean, like it's everything, everything's falling apart, but it's like I'm at a new level where I'm like just watching it and like kind of taking a step back, if that makes sense.
Totally.
Like I've been through this like so many times that I'm like, okay, well, I know that it's gonna get better, but I just have to like be as aware and present as possible so I can like listen and learn. But I would say that right now, the main things are my physical body. I'm unemployed right now on purpose because I'm trying to transition over into this new career of mine, which is basically like entrepreneurial. And that's really intense. And there's also just like that block there, even though I'm getting so much support from the universe telling me to go forward with it. And then I would say that my relationship with my current partner is like, it's kind of weird because it's tumultuous right now, but there's also this like deep connection, like soul connection that we've always had. And we like learn so much from each other and grow so much. And it's like been super difficult and hard and at the same time rewarding. And I know that like when I'm going through one of these transitions that it just makes everything else so much harder because I tend to want to become codependent and want him to kind of become my therapist or become like this nurturer. And then he pulls away and it just makes everything so much more difficult.
Yeah.
So if there's anything there like that we could look at to help me kind of navigate that a little bit better, that would be amazing too.
Is this the same partner you had before?
Yes. Yeah. We've been together for 6 years.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can take a look at that. I am hearing, though, he is helping you grow.
Yeah.
That is part of it. That is part of the pulling away because he's trying to, like, he's not doing this necessarily consciously, but he's trying to make you figure this out on your own. And I just want to commend you, by the way, for being able to take a step back and observe everything as it's happening, because that's exactly where you need to be in that space. That's exactly where you need to be. So not reacting to it, not getting pulled in or sucked into the minutia or the repetitive cycles of it, but just being able to not only observe, but still feel your feelings and emotions, obviously, but like really realizing that, okay, I've been through this before. This is going to get better eventually. I just need to go through it. Bravo. That is such a beautiful place to be. And that's exactly where you want to be.
Oh, thank you so much for that acknowledgement. I feel so seen.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be. It's where I try to get like so many of my clients to get to, because that is where a lot of the suffering comes in, is if you hold on to that. If you hold on to the fact that this is happening again and, oh, I'm going to be in this forever and, all of that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really great.
Oh, thank you. I'm not perfect. I mean, I still slide down, but I'm better than I've ever been.
It's a process. We all do. I mean, I do myself as well. Like when I go through that, I'm like, okay, I guess this sucks. I know it's going to get better, but I'm just going to feel it now, and I'm just going to cry, and I'm going to do all the things that I need to do.
Yep.
And I'm in a rage, and I'm going to get mad at my angels, and I'm going to do, I'm
Yep.
going to do all the
Yep.
things I do.
Yep.
I'm also going to understand that it's going to go away when I allow it to go away. When it is done being released, I can let it go.
Yes.
And it can be a little jarring sometimes too, because like there have been times, and I don't know if you've experienced this yet, but like there have been times when I've gone through that cycle of dark night of the soul or going through a purge, and then all of a sudden it's just gone. One day it's just gone, and you're like the happiest, and you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And you're like, okay, this is really bizarre. Like I was just like sobbing yesterday, and today I'm okay.
Yes.
This isn't typically how I operate, but that's how it should operate, because typically if you were holding on to it, that piece of happiness that comes when things finally release wouldn't be experienced, because you'd be still wallowing in the sadness of what was happening, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Being the observer allows you to take a step back, and it allows you to be in a place of receiving what is going to come, no matter what it is. Okay. And what is the reason why you would not be going back to South America?
Oh, well, I want to go back to South America, but it was like a visa thing. So I'm going back in November, and I'd like to just do it kind of like half and half, where I'm going to South America half the year, and then I'm spending half the year in either the United States or somewhere kind of nearby, because I think that for right now, I feel like I'm being called to kind of connect the heart and the mind. And I feel like the United States is really mind focused, and I feel like South America is really heart focused.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to live in both places and have that balance, and then find the ways to kind of like articulate or translate the messages that I'm getting from both sides, if that makes sense.
That makes total sense. They're showing you to me putting all these building blocks together in your root chakra, and it's like you're building your foundation. And you're saying, okay, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. And crap, why is everything falling down? Maybe that doesn't go there. They're showing it to me almost like you're on a game show, and you're trying to like fit all the right pieces in the right slots, and like you're just not getting it right. So then what else should she be doing instead of this then? Yeah. So instead of you physically trying to put all the building blocks in place, if you can imagine yourself like, I don't know if you remember The Price is Right. That kind of dates me quite a bit, but like it was this game show where like people would do these little like puzzle games or do these little different games. They'd have to like physically run around or do something and like place things somewhere. Like instead of doing that, they want you standing on the edge of the board game, doing basically like a Jedi mind trick, like moving all the blocks into place.
Okay. Yeah, like manifesting it.
Yeah, and moving with the energy and allowing the blocks to just fall into place.
Okay.
If something isn't moving or if something isn't working out, then just focusing on the things that are, focusing on something different. Just knowing that if something isn't moving or if something isn't going into place, that's just not either the right place or the right time. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then let's move that energy into the sacral chakra. Okay. So this is where you are having some blocks and they're saying it's almost like an identity crisis.
It's like you are able to connect into your soul and be the observer, as we were speaking of. And it's almost like your soul is saying, yeah, I get it. So, this physical body that I have went through trauma, went through sexual abuse, went through all of those things. Okay, yeah, but we are not the body. So, it's cool and we can just move on. And meanwhile, your body's like, no, we can't. Like, hey, we're still here and this stuff still happened. Like, you can't just ignore this. It's this battle between your soul and your body going, yeah, we just need to move on. Like, it happened. It was in the past. We just need to move on. And your body going, no, but it's still here. So that's kind of what's happening right now at the moment. And this is why you're having a lot of these physical manifestations, because it's your body basically saying, like, it's still here. This energy is still here. And it's just basically asking you to acknowledge it so it can move on. It's not that you're holding on to it too tightly. It's just that your body is still saying, like, hey, this energy is still here.
Okay.
All right. So, what is it that she can do to allow that energy to move through? Acknowledge it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, if you can imagine like your soul and your body working together. So, basically, if you're in meditation and you're connected to your soul, you and your soul can connect to your physical body and say, hey, how are you? What do you need? What are you processing right now? Where do you feel that there are issues happening? Where do you feel that there's, like you said, there's pain happening? And you were saying like hip pain as well, which is also like rooted in the sacral as well. Yeah. How often do you connect to your physical body that way?
Like in meditation and stuff,
Yeah.
there was a point where I was in my body all the time
Mm-hmm.
and was able to, like, I was really tuned in to the point where I could actually feel the energy like moving around and I could like see in my mind's eye like the colors of everything. That was like the energy clearing that I was doing, was basically like deep body like release. I was doing a lot of, like, it looked kind of crazy on the outside. Sometimes I was like moaning or shaking, or if that makes sense. Since being back here, just haven't, I guess, felt as free to be that connected with my body.
Got it. So that's something that it is wanting more of. Okay. So being able to connect in that way is going to help. Somatic movements are going to help as well. Sometimes you don't need to physically get the energy out through voice or shaking. You can actually be more pointed about it, I guess. So, like setting aside a time in your morning routine, in your daily morning routine, to somatic movements to release some of this energy wherever it might happen to be.
Okay.
And sometimes just listening to your body, and maybe your body wants to move in a particular way, and that's just what it's showing you that it needs to do in order to move, in order to do the things that it needs to do to release this energy. Yeah. Okay. All right. So then let's move that energy into the solar plexus chakra. Your solar plexus chakra looks really good.
Oh, wow, it's a surprise.
Well, it's interesting because it's almost like your solar plexus is rising above all of the stuff that's happening in the 3D.
Okay.
And you're just like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm confident as to what is going to be happening and what my trajectory is going to be. Like, your solar plexus is almost lighting the way.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And you have this knowing within you that, like, yeah, this is the path. This is where I'm going. This is what's supposed to happen, even though everything around me is looking like that's not the case. But I know this is what's going to happen. And I have the confidence that I'm going to do it. And so, like, you have this deep down within you. And that's actually exactly where you want it to be, because that's what manifests. Like, that is what manifests, is the knowing, the just, I know that this is going to happen. Like, I know that this is meant for me. Yeah, that's great. And it doesn't mean that you don't have doubts sometimes, which you do, but that's okay. The underlying energy is that self-confidence, which is great.
I'm so happy.
Yay.
Okay.
You came back from South America and you were open, like open-hearted. And you get back to the US and you're open-hearted, and then you're like, ooh, I don't want to be open-hearted to that energy. Nope.
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of like going into like different places, different spaces, encountering different people with this open heart, and then you're like, oop, nope, no open-heartedness with that one. Okay, no open-heartedness. Okay, nope. So it's like you're learning how to use discernment, which is great. You're learning how to use discernment with like, yeah, no, don't need to be open-hearted there. Nope, that's fine. There is an element of being open-hearted and also holding boundaries and being able to have that discernment of what you are letting in and what you are not. And that's what you're learning how to do. That's the balance that you're seeking. That's the balance that you're really looking for, and why you feel like being in the United States for half the time is important, is because it's like it's going to test your mettle. It's going to let you know whether or not you're able to do these things in more challenging environments.
Okay.
All of your channels are just super wide open. And they're saying that about your third eye as well. You're super wide open. There are reasons why some of the things have been scaring you. Sleep paralysis itself can be really terrifying. But ultimately, what it is just your astral projecting. You're in basically another space with your consciousness, and your body hasn't caught up yet.
Oh, wow.
So basically, your soul is off doing whatever it's doing. And then, like, let's say you wake up before your soul is back, before it's like back into your body. And like, it just takes a few minutes for everything to sort of sync up again. And that's essentially what's happening during sleep paralysis. Basically, all you need to do is work with your soul and basically say, hey, if you're going to be off doing work while I'm sleeping, you need to be back before I wake up, because I can't experience this anymore. Like, this is not helping me. So work with your soul, work with your higher self and like the astral projection and what you're doing, and try to get those things to sync up.
Okay, cool.
Just by setting the intention. That's all.
That sounds great.
The other thing that they're saying also that has been happening is that because all of your channels are open and you can see everything now, like you're seeing spirits and ghosts and all kinds of things, like you can see some of the lower energies if you are in lower energy. Okay. When we are going through the dark nights of the soul with our channels open, we're going to see some darkness. We're going to see some lower energies, because that's the place where we're vibrating. Okay. We can set the intention while we're going through a dark night of the soul to close those channels. All you have to do is set the intention. I'm going to close my crown chakra. I'm going to close my third eye. They are closed for the duration until I am out of this dark night of the soul. You can set that intention. It is up to you. You have the power to be able to see or not see whatever it is that you are experiencing.
Okay.
Yeah, you're oscillating right now between bleeding through your throat chakra and like not being able to speak. So what I mean by bleeding through the throat chakra, it's like almost like you're saying too much. You're expressing too much before you even had a chance to process it. It's just like expressing without knowing where it's coming from. And so there's a combination between that and then not being able to speak, not being able to articulate what you want to say. And it's because you're oscillating between these two things, it can be very difficult to communicate sometimes. This doesn't have anything to do with a past life or anything else. It just has to do with you getting your bearings in where you are currently with your trajectory. And what they're going to recommend that you do is intentionally work something out within your meditations and be in that observer standpoint before you actually communicate.
Okay, that makes sense.
When you said that you can have a tendency to be codependent with your partner, that's where that's coming from. It's because you're speaking from your wounding and you're speaking from wherever it is that you're working through, and you're not speaking from the actual root of the matter.
Okay.
They're showing me a simple example of like, if you're saying like something is not working out for you on a particular day, let's say you're trying to get something accomplished and it's just not working, like everything is just kind of working against you at that moment, then instead of focusing on that thing and let's say turning to your partner and complaining to your partner like, oh, I can't get this to work, this is totally sucky, like I can't, blah, 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 then what you can do is take a step back and say, okay, what is this showing me right now? Is this just a stupid thing in life that happens and there's nothing I can do about it because it's just happening and I guess I just have to take a step back? Is it something that it is actually showing me something that I need to learn? What is actually happening here? In that space, being able to possibly figure it out, possibly not. Maybe you wouldn't figure it out right away, but at the very least, starting to ask the questions. So then when you do talk to your partner, let's say you're talking about your days and how things are going, you can be like, yeah, I was trying to do this thing. It didn't work out. And I'm just kind of trying to work through it right now. I don't know why it's not working out. So I'm just leaving it for now. Like, you feel the difference in that energy versus coming at him with like, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Blah, 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 blah. This is sucky. You know, like that. There's the difference in those two energies where you're not placing that energy back on him. You're keeping that energy to yourself while still expressing what happened to him. Does that make sense?
Yes, yes, it does.
Okay. Because oftentimes when we complain about things to friends, partners, doesn't matter who it is, we're literally like, I can't deal with this energy that I have within me. So I'm just going to place it on you. I'm just going to push it on you for now.
Yeah.
Like, that's essentially what we're doing.
Yeah, that's so not fair. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to deal with the energy ourselves. And then if we feel the need that we need to express it to somebody or talk it out, then we can say like, hey, I've got this thing going on. Do you have some time? Do you have the energy? Do you have the bandwidth to like help me talk it through right now? You know?
Yes.
That's kind of how you can approach the situation as opposed to the all or nothing kind of situation.
Okay.
I want to thank Akula, my Akashic guide. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon for guiding us through the records today. Today we are opening up records. Great, thank you. All right, so of all the things that we were talking about today, where do we need to go first? Okay, they want to talk about your new trajectory for your career, and they want to talk about light codes and what you're doing. The messages that you are bringing forth through your writing and through your artwork have nothing to do with the actual words or the artwork that you're putting out necessarily. They are a message that will connect to the person on a particular level, just like somebody sees a painting and for whatever reason, they like the colors or they like the image or they like how it's been painted. That is not the core of what the painting is doing for the person. It is the hook, if you will. It is what's getting them interested. And that's what the words and the image are doing. What is behind the words is the energy. What is behind the image is the energy. And the energy is what is important that you are conveying to other people. So the reason why this is important for you to know is that while you are writing and while you are creating these images, it is important to recognize and understand the energy that you are in at that time. So if you are in an energy of frustration while you are working on something like that, understand that that energy will be infused in the writing. It'll be infused in the image. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing if you are helping people who are frustrated and who are trying to move out of frustration. That can be part of the light codes that are being embedded into the image or the writing. As a whole, what you are conveying to people is not only an energetic code, but it's a frequency of love that is given to them through your creativity that is allowing them to take that piece of energy or that light code and expand upon it in the way that they need to expand upon it. So if you can imagine, you are handing out palettes of paints. Each person gets the same palette of paint with the same colors, and that person takes that palette and moves forward in their life and creates something with that palette. Each person is going to create something completely different from it, but they've all received the same palette at the same frequency. And that is essentially what you are giving people. That's exactly what a light code is essentially a new piece of frequency, a new piece of information that is being given. And then that person, that soul takes that frequency and does what they will with it based on their own frequency, their own experiences, and what they are meant to do. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's like exactly what I want.
Amazing. So yeah, just trust and follow whatever frequency you're creating in. They're just saying if something isn't coming together, it's okay. Just leave it. Come back to it another time. You might be working on, bunches of these at the same time. Like some might not be complete for a little while, but that's okay.
I feel like you're standing in my room right now. You're like, it's okay that hundreds of these are just halfway done.
Yeah, no, it totally is. It's totally fine. because essentially you're gathering each of the pieces of the codes, you're weaving them together. And so not all of them can be complete in one sitting. Some of them might be, but not all of them.
Right.
You yourself are important in this. It's not just the images or the words, like you and your voice are important in this.
Oh, okay.
Even though you said it's going to be anonymous, it's not going to be your face or your image, but your voice actually can be part of this.
Okay. Like not writing, just like talking, you mean?
Yeah. So, like, even if you are writing, you could have the voiceover behind it. You could have, I mean, there could be various different things you do.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe some of the codes don't require that, but maybe some of them do. It just, you're going to use your discretion on that.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Oh my God, I feel so supported. Holy crap.
Good. Okay, so then let's see what we need to work on next. Yeah. So the one thing they want to address regarding your feelings of being where you are in the US, not wanting to necessarily engage or spending a lot more time inside, is that they need you to find a place there where you can have that peace outside, where you can go and have that connection. Have you found a place to go yet or no?
I actually just found one yesterday.
Okay, good. Good.
Like I found, well, not one with people though. Like if they're wanting me to interact with people, I still haven't found that yet.
They're not necessarily saying you need to interact with people. It's just you need to find a place that's outside of your home that kind of can be a place where you can go and feel at peace.
Yes. Okay. Yep. Check.
If you can imagine every single human in the United States that is not on a spiritual journey, imagine them like all of them are bees buzzing.
Okay.
That is exactly what is happening right now. They're all buzzing at a similar frequency of fear. And it's funny because it's all sides of the spectrum. I mean, you want to talk about politics, it's like literally on all sides of the spectrum. Everybody's afraid
Right.
for different reasons, but everybody's afraid.
Yeah.
And that is what is being peddled. And that's the reason for all of it is the fear. And so when we're able to rise above the fear and not feel or connect to that fear, it can make us feel a little isolated because we're not wanting to connect into that frequency. You're going to want to connect to the people who are not connected to that frequency. You're going to need to practice how to rise above that frequency so it doesn't become something that you even experience. Now, I know it's hard because you're bombarded from all sides, but it is possible. It is possible to sort of detach from all of that energy, all of that buzzing, and just set the intention that that's not the frequency that you are vibrating at, and nor is it something that you want to be pulled into because you don't need to be. There are people out there, there are light workers out there that need to be pulled into that energy because they're there to help. That's not your job. You're not there to help people out of this fear that they're in.
Okay.
You're here to help people who are ready, who are already out of the fear to level up and to go to that next level.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Actually, that makes so much sense because a lot of the stuff that I like communicate and talk about is like based around things that people are afraid of, like death and the like dark side of things. But like in, you know, it's like with this like positive twist. So like not a lot of people are going to click on it because they want to avoid that altogether because they're in that state so deeply.
Yeah. And most of the time, if you're not willing to look at a fear, exactly that, you're going to ignore it. You're going to bury your head in the sand. You're not going to want to face that fear because facing the fear is actually what integrates the fear and allows it to not have power over you.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You will find people that you will be able to connect with and they'll find you. All right. So do you have any questions about that? Was there anything else that you wanted to cover in that?
That part, no, but I did have something that came up while we were talking. Is it okay if I share that?
Please.
There was one other branch that I forgot to mention that came up while we were talking about that, and it was the branch of my soul just being tired, if that makes sense. Like, there's been a lot of times where I go through like a really deep, quick, fast transition, whether it's like on a plant medicine or through a dark night of the soul, just when you're like deep in it and you're kind of like, yeah, like an ego death essentially. And like you're right there face to face with your soul. And every time I'm like right there with it, It's like crying. It wants to just like be done with this life. It wants to just be on the other side already. Like I hear over and over again, like, I'm just so tired. I just want it to be over. I'm so tired. I just want it to be done.
Okay.
Like anything I could do to like make that stop happening because like I'm here. It's not going to stop. So,
All right. So we're going to do a little exercise and I want you to connect to that voice.
okay.
So that voice and that feeling that you were having of being soul tired, of being tired of being in this body, going through all of these transitions. I want you to imagine that it is an energy that is just sort of popping out of your body at the moment and it's right in front of you. And I want you to ask it, what part of you is tired? What part does this energy represent?
It's just like all I see is like a lack of love. Maybe it's like not being enough, or there's not the peace or the love that it wants. It's craving that could be, I guess, like experienced consistently on the other side. And I guess it's just like the ups and downs of everything and feeling like once there is that peace and love, it's like, oh yes, finally. And then it like gets taken away and it's like, no, oh my God. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
It does. Can you ask that energy? Can you ask it where it wants that peace and love to come from?
It's just saying you. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's kind of annoying because I feel like I already knew the answer.
Mhm. We always do.
Yeah.
We always know the answers. We do.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes somebody just to point it out in order for us to really, truly recognize it, right?
Yeah.
The tiredness, whenever that comes in, when they being fed up, when that comes in, I want you to talk to it and I want you to ask it what it needs.
Okay.
So if you were to ask it right now what it needs, what is it telling you?
Oh, just like a hug and also just like be like less hard on myself and to just like find a way to still my mind because it's like that stresses it out. That stresses everything out.
So you want to know what's really super funny?
What?
When I was doing this visual with you, imagining that peace, that energy popping out of your body
Yeah.
and standing in front of you, the very first thing it did was took its finger and started tapping you on the forehead. So, like, basically saying, your brain, stop being so much in your brain. And that is a big part of it. Yeah, certainly. So, whenever you feel that, check in with that feeling and ask it what it needs
Okay.
and then give it to it.
Yes.
Because that feeling is there for a reason.
Yes. That makes sense.
Okay. And while we're here, if you feel comfortable enough, I would like to speak to the energy that is within your body that has felt violated sexually and otherwise. And if you can imagine that energy doing the same thing and just sort of floating out of your body and presenting itself in front of you. How big is this energy?
It's pretty big and it's flames.
And it's flames?
Yes, it's just flames.
Yeah. I want you to ask this energy how it's feeling right now.
Angry and scared.
Angry at whom?
Men, just men, like all, yeah, in some facet or another.
Is it the masculine side of everyone or is it just men?
Let me ask. The energy is getting smaller now, and it looks like a pair of pants, like on fire. And I asked again who it was angry at, and it said me.
Okay. Can you ask why it's angry at you?
It thinks that it's my fault.
Okay. Can you ask what it was that you could have done in order for this energy to be calm, be at peace?
There isn't a verbal answer. It's like, it feels like there's like a fist around my heart and my throat that's like clenching, like stopping.
Okay.
So that's the answer that I'm getting, which is kind of, I guess, like just like a freeze state. Like it's like, I don't know what to do.
Can you ask it what it needs right now?
It's silent.
You said it's silent?
Yes.
Okay.
I could try again.
How are the flames right now?
They're super faded in the background. It's like I'm in kind of a circle of flames. And there's a pair of like blue jeans in the flames with me looking at me. And on top of the blue jeans is some flames. These flames are like more prevalent. And then the flames in the background are just kind of like dull, but they're always there. If that makes sense.
Whose blue jeans are they?
They're cartoon blue jeans. Like if I had drawn something when I was young, that's what they look like.
Okay. Can you ask why it's portraying itself as blue jeans specifically?
It's because I feel like something was taken from me. And like it feels like gets represented as that because it feels like I was taken from me. Like the part of me that is here to be, like to let go, to enjoy, to create, to express, it was taken. And it's like smothered by the fear that it could happen again. I feel like only half of me is alive. That's what it feels like.
Tell me if this sounds like it resonates for you, because jeans or pants represent something that is modest, something that is covered and hidden. And to have a pair of jeans being able to protect you on top of the flames being there to protect you, that this is representing not necessarily the trauma, but the protection that you wanted, the protection that you feel you still need to have out of that fear of being in that same situation again. The clinging to the heart and the throat are also representative of that bracing and wanting to be invisible, not being too out there in order to be seen. And what is interesting is that I'm seeing you in that 6 months, in that open-heartedness that you were. This didn't exist there. It was almost like you were in a safe space where you didn't feel like you had to worry. And it was the first time you had felt that, which is why this is now coming up again, because it is ready to be released, because you now know what it feels like to be in a safe space. You know what it feels like to feel safe in your body, and you are ready to release this. And I want you to ask the flaming pair of jeans, how does it feel about that?
It's like one step at a time, girl.
Absolutely.
I think that you're so spot on. I'm like crying right now.
That's good. It's the release.
Yeah.
So every time you feel this connection to this energy, if it comes up again, if this energy comes up, even if it's hard to describe what this feels like, correct?
Yeah, I didn't know if somebody was listening to our conversation, they would be like, yeah, obviously that's the root of your freaking problems. But I just didn't know exactly like what you said. It like kind of pushed it under the rug. I was like, I don't know. And now I see the energy in front of me and I'm like, oh my God, this is here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This is my problem with everything.
Well, and it's familiar, right? I mean, it makes sense that that is the most familiar to you, because oftentimes the thing that is there to protect us, so to speak, the energy that is there to show us where we have been and how to protect ourselves is going to be the most prevalent.
Yeah.
And so to let go of that energy is going to be a really big deal because it's been around for so long.
Yeah.
And that's why when you asked it, it was like, yeah, one step at a time, girl. It's like, yeah, that is true, but also recognize that it can be done.
As you said that, like my hips got so tight. Like they're like, nope, nope. Like it does not want to let go of this. There is definitely like a embodiment of like a truth being that if I let go of this, it's gonna happen again. Yeah.
So there are two things that need to happen. First, releasing some of this energy from the body. So looking up some somatic movements for releasing sexual trauma.
Okay.
Releasing it from the body, doing any sort of releasing energy from the hips, from the sacral chakra. And then the other aspect of this is going to be building trust with that energy. So you're going to talk to that energy as often as you can. Whenever it pops up, check in with that energy and say, hey, what's going on? What do you got going on? What are you feeling? And maybe it'll say something like, well, I'm trying to protect you right now. And you can say, well, it's okay. I've got this. We're good.
Okay.
It's something that is happening due to the fact that it has been working really hard for you for a really long time. And because you haven't been paying attention as much to this energy, it's like been on autopilot. So it's saying, all right, I got to do my job. Got to wake up every morning. Got to do my job. Got to do my job. Got to do my job. And now how you shift this energy is you turn towards this part of you and say, I got you. You've been working really, really hard for me for my whole life. And I want you to be able to come to a place of trust with me and understand that we got this. We don't have to hold on so tight anymore. We don't have to put up our guard anymore. We don't have to guard our hearts anymore. We can move through this together. And I want you to help me to get you to trust that I can guide you through this. So it's almost like looking at it as a friend that has been supporting you for a really long time. And now you're saying to the friend, I'm really sorry I haven't paid attention to you. I'm really sorry that I didn't recognize all that you were doing for me. But now I want to do something for you. I want to help you and alleviate the burden that you've been carrying. So let me take some of that burden from you. Let me earn some of your trust so we can walk into newer, brighter, happier energy together. And how does that feel?
That feels like a totally different, very unconditionally self-loving perspective that I have never felt before about this energy.
Yeah. Because ultimately, this energy isn't coming up for you to revisit it or to relive it. This energy is coming up because it's saying that it's been protecting you for that long. And you're saying, hey, I don't need the protection. It's basically saying, yeah, sure. Really? Are you sure you don't need it anymore?
Yeah.
And this is where that trust being built between those two energies needs to happen.
Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. They're also showing me the heart chakra, which this is part of it. It's part of that discernment of, am I going to be open-hearted to this person or this energy or not, right? It's that learning how to use this energy to your advantage, because this protection energy that has been here for so long, it's not a bad energy. It's just an energy that's been overworked. You can let this energy know that she is absolutely worthy to step in when it's her time to step in, but she doesn't have to be operating all day, every day.
Okay.
So if there is a moment in time where she needs to step in and light a fire under you, cool, she can do that, but it doesn't have to be now and it doesn't have to be every day. So they want to talk about your boyfriend.
Okay.
He doesn't understand where you are right now. And I feel like you've been back and forth in this a few times in your relationship where like either you haven't understood where he is and then he hasn't understood where you are. And it's like this sort of back and forth a little bit of trying to understand each person's perspective and what they're dealing with. Oh, okay. The lesson is you don't need to understand and it's okay. Okay. So they're saying like you can say to him like, it's okay. You don't need to understand what I'm going through. You don't need to understand what is happening right now. All I need from you is X, Y, and Z, whatever that is.
Okay.
All I need from you is for you to make dinner tonight because I can't be bothered right now. All I need from you is a hug. I need a lot of hugs over the next couple of days because I'm going through something. Communicating what it is that you need and asking him if he can provide that for you. Because they're showing me these moments where when he doesn't understand what you're going through, it's like he kind of freezes, like he doesn't know what to do. When that happens, he tries to do things that like he thinks are going to help you, but he doesn't know if they are going to help you. Well, you can be certain that when you communicate to him, hey, this is what I need, then he'll be like, okay, yeah, I can do that for you. It's like taking the guesswork out of it for him.
Okay.
And then vice versa, he's going to need to do the same for you when he's in that space.
Okay.
This is not something that has to do with you both specifically. It has to do with sort of the general relationship template that has been part of society for a long, long time. This idea that you should just know what I need. This idea of I'm the man, therefore I should know how to comfort my girlfriend, or I should know how to show up for her when she needs me. It's this idea that we, quote unquote, should just do something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that is beautiful to do for somebody on a particular level that is, let's say, more on the surface. So, for example, he goes and picks up your favorite food on the way home from work or something because he really likes to make you happy and he wants to do that for you and he does that as a surprise. Cool. That's awesome. There's nothing wrong with that. When you're going through something really deep and you're going through something that he doesn't understand, he might try to do some things that are helping you to cheer you up or to bring you out of the state that you're in because he doesn't know what to do. And none of it is really helping because what he's doing is not what you need. And that's no fault of his own. It's just the matter of communication. And sometimes you might not know what you need at that moment, and that's okay too, but you can communicate that.
Okay.
What is his go-to when he is trying to cheer you up? What does he usually do?
Sometimes he kind of just like gets really silly and like tries to make me laugh. Or sometimes I think a lot of times he thinks that I just need space.
Okay.
And so he just kind of like leaves me alone, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And do any of those things work, or do they help, or do you appreciate them?
No, I don't like them. Like his heart is opening up a lot too. And so like it's like we're learning how to be like caregivers towards each other and ourselves. And just recently he started to do this thing where like if I'm crying like pretty bad in front of him, he like holds me like a baby. And I really like
That's awesome. That's really beautiful.
yeah. That I guess that would be the thing that when he tries to cheer me up, that's the thing that's most is like he's learning that like sometimes I don't need to be fixed. I just need somebody to be there with me in that moment as I am.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's beautiful. That's exactly what they're talking about. So that's what you need to continue to work on with each other.
Okay.
And communicating those things. And sometimes communicating those things in the moment doesn't work because, like I said, sometimes you don't know what you need or anything like that. But like in hindsight, you can meditate on it and then later on come back to him and say, hey, so by the way, earlier when I was expressing this or when I was in this space, I don't want you to have to guess at what I need. And so in those moments when I'm like that, I don't need space. I just need you to be there with me. And you don't need to say anything. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to make light of the situation. You can literally just be there. And that's it.
Okay.
That's all that's required. So those types of things, each situation might call for something different. Okay. But having that communication and opening up that line of communication will also help because he's going to want to do the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Let me see if there are any other things that we need to address. So they're saying you want to be in a place of being of service to other people. And they're saying that you're not exactly ready yet. It's not far off, but it's not quite yet. You're still going through a couple of other things. The releasing of this energy that we just talked about regarding the bodily trauma that you went through is something that is going to be a really big piece to release in order for you to be able to move forward. And once that is complete and you've built that trust with that energy and you've gone through some more of the purging that you have been going through recently, then it's going to be the time for you to be able to connect to others to help them. The one thing that they want you to know is that as you move through this and as you start being of service to others, the amount of these types of purgings that you will go through will be fewer and far between. You will still go through them, but they won't be as frequent. Okay.
Within the last year, I've pretty much had my grandma by my side, like every step of the way. I can just like feel her, and sometimes she holds my hand.
Aww.
Yeah, just recently, I also started to have my other grandma with me, and I can see her through a lot of food cravings I get and like smells, and also my dog. And these are all beings who have passed, but recently my dog has been everywhere. My dog is literally like somebody else is like walking a dog, and I'm like, that's my dog. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
I can tell that they're around and they're there for me. And I was just wondering if maybe you could just like tell them that like I love them.
You just did. So here's the beautiful thing. You do not need me to tell them that. You can tell them that all you want. Okay.
Do they have anything to say to me? I guess like because yeah, I do say that to them all the time, and I can feel them. But like especially my dog, does he have anything he wants to say?
He's having a lot of fun. So he just, whether it was just, was it recent? Yes. Okay. So he just recently figured out that he can pop in and out of bodies. He's been doing a lot of that. And it's easy to do for animals because, especially if there's another animal that is in the collective soul of animals, if they're in a collective soul, then it's easy for let's say a spirit guide or a higher level being to pop into that pet or that animal for a short period of time. Okay. It's funny because right now, the last, I would say 4 or 5 days, I have seen what looks like the exact same bird. And it's a very unique looking bird. It's the exact same bird. Every time I'm down here doing my sessions, this bird literally just hops by the window and just kind of hangs out and hops by. And every single time I've seen that bird, I'm like, there's Lucius. There's my old cat.
Oh,
I just know that's him. And the reason why they do that is because they want to assist in the way that they can, where they are allowing their energy field to be near us in a physical form so it can help us in some way. Whether it's just by saying, hey, I'm here, whether it's just to say, hey, I love you, and to give you that beautiful energy, or whether it's just to give you a sign, or all sorts of different reasons why they could do this. For right now, is just having fun, like popping into different bodies and being able to be near you in those different bodies. And he said that he's going to learn how to give you more signs and communicate with you, but he hasn't quite figured out how to do that yet.
oh.
How long has he been gone?
He's been gone for 5 years.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been a while. So I'm curious as why has he just figured this out now? Just out of curiosity. Oh, okay. It's about your frequency. You wouldn't have noticed. You wouldn't have known that that's what he was doing.
Oh, okay. I also have a lot of guilt because he ended up getting really sick and I wasn't able to come home and like help him pass over. Yeah. I think I kind of blocked it out for a little bit.
So he's showing me that he vaguely remembers that. Like he's so far removed from it that like it's like he barely remembers that that happened.
Can you ask him a question for me?
Yeah.
He followed me home one day, and that's how our 16-year relationship went. And I still remember him running out of a house and just seeing me. And I was just wondering, can you ask him like what that was? Like that thing. Does that make sense? If I may ask.
It does. It was literally just a soul recognition. He saw you and he's like, oh, there she is.
Is there a purpose as to why he became my dog?
Oh, that's so cute. He's earning his badges.
What does that mean?
He's earning his badges. That's so cute. Like, for example, when you are a higher level soul and you're learning how to guide people from the other side, you have to go through certain training, if you will. You have to go through certain ways of being able to help from the other side. And some of those things can be being incarnated as pets. Some of it can be literally just being an angel or a spirit guide on the other side. And you have to learn how to communicate with your human. There are all sorts of different ways in which the higher level souls have to go through training in order to learn how to be here for the human that they're assisting. And so this is just one of his trainings, like that he needed to go through in order to help you. He needed to be your dog for that period of time. And right now he's still going through the training. Like he's still learning how to help you from the other side, but not necessarily as your dog, but in other ways.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I totally get that, but I accept it.
Well, so by earning your badge, you understand what I mean about like, I don't know, you're familiar with like Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, that kind of thing.
Yes.
You earn badges for each thing that you learn how to do. Like that's kind of what they're doing.
Okay. So he's like trying to like ascend to another place.
Exactly. Like he's trying to ascend to a different level of being able to help. We have, let's say, our spirit guides, our crossed over loved ones, and then we have our angels, and then there's the archangels, and then we have seraphims, and we have like all the various different levels of higher energy beings. Okay. And so he's a higher energy being, a higher frequency being who is an ancestor, if you will, like you want to consider it like an ancestor who has leveled up and gone through an ascension process to the point where they can now be spirit guides in various different forms. Okay. So he's not part of her soul. He's not. Okay. So for example, my previous cat was actually a different part of my soul.
Okay.
So he was a higher level being and he is part of my soul who has been like my guide, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So basically, like we have that connection because of that. What they're saying, he was not part of your soul, but he is part of your, I want to say, ancestry almost. Like maybe he was a crossed over loved one at some point many, many lifetimes ago, and then just got to the point of evolution in his soul to now he is able to do this for you.
Oh, okay. He's probably one of the most important beings that I've ever come across. So I was just wondering.
Yeah, definitely.
I love him.
He loves you too. All right, my dear. So I am going to close the Akashic records. Thank you to Akula, my Akashic guide. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to Archangel Metatron and Archangel Sandalphon for being here as well. The records are closed. The records are closed. The records are closed. Thank you. Amazing. How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Awesome. I'm so glad.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate this. Okay, bye. Have a good day.
You too, bye.
Once again, I would like to thank Chloe for allowing me to record her session for the benefit of the podcast. When we go through spiritual awakenings, we don't often consider what happens on the other side. Often we are striving for the healing or striving for the breakthroughs or just coming out of the dark night of the soul even. We don't often talk about what happens after a significant awakening process. I'm never going to say what happens after your spiritual awakening is complete, because it is my belief that our spiritual awakening is never complete. It is an ongoing process, and our soul is always evolving. No matter what incarnation this is for you, no matter if you spend a lot of time on the other side or more time on Earth, or if you've spent time on other planets, it really doesn't matter. Our souls are constantly evolving. So when I refer to the actions that we can take or the things that we need to integrate after your spiritual awakening process, I am simply referring to a particular portion of your awakening process, or a chapter, if you will. For Chloe, she went down to South America and she did all kinds of healing work. She did ayahuasca. She dove into her shadow. She was able to be present for herself, get into a spiritual practice. And all of these things are wonderful and really nourishing and pretty easy to do when you create the space for it. Chloe did absolutely create that space. She created that 6 months, that this is her intention for her to do this. Now, part of what we don't make time for after that period of rejuvenation, healing, and connection to self is the integration into our 3D lives. This is something that I myself have experienced in terms of being able to really take a look at parts of my three-dimensional life that I have been neglecting over the course of this particular chapter of my spiritual awakening. It can be very easy once you find your center and your balance and you've gotten to a place of peace in your awakening process, where when you're by yourself, things are great. When you are around other like energy people, things are wonderful and aligned, and you're in the flow and everything just is wonderful. But what happens when you start connecting to those people, places, and experiences that are not so aligned? How do you handle those then? And this is a really big test. This is a really big part of our process, because being in your beautifully balanced state while being alone or being with other like energy souls is easy. Once you get there, it's easy. Being with people who are challenging to you, people who are giving you all kinds of contrast, that is where the good stuff is. The ability to rein in your thoughts, the ability to not fall into old patterns, the practice that you need to have in order to keep your balance. Or if you go off balance, that's okay, to find your balance again and how long it takes for you to get there. All of these things are important when you are walking this path. I have gone through this a couple of times now, where I have been shown where there are holes or deficiencies in my process. And it's not to judge yourself regarding a perceived failure in being able to hold your balance. It is about reacting differently, being different, showing up differently. So even if you fall back into old patterns, being able to course correct and come back maybe the next day and say, you know what? I recognize this pattern and I used to do this and I don't want to do this anymore. If it is regarding a relationship with a person, actually having a conversation with them and saying, hey, I reacted badly yesterday. and I'm really sorry. And this is how I would like to respond. Taking responsibility for your behaviors, being able to understand and see them for what they are, for your own wounding, for being able to identify what is really yours and what isn't. And if it is something that isn't yours, to have compassion for the person or people that you are dealing with, not placing blame, but just being able to decide to allow them to have the experience that they are meant to have. The purpose of all of this is not necessarily to just walk through life in a potential permanent state of bliss, although that would be lovely. The goal is to be able to be more steady in your experiences and not necessarily having super high highs and super low lows as it pertains to your reactions, your energy, where you are in terms of your relationships, interactions, communications, all of those things. So if you can maintain a peaceful state within yourself amidst tragedy, chaos, challenge, anger, arguments, all of those lower energies, then you have truly mastered the ability of staying connected to your soul and to the purity of who you are while still being embodied in this human vessel. I personally don't know anybody who's reached that yet, but I'm sure there are people from the past or people who are currently living who have achieved this. I'm sure there are. It is something that is achievable, though. It takes practice. And when we practice, that does not mean existing in a vacuum, in a bubble, protected from all outside influence. We have to actually go out there. We have to actually experience things in order to practice keeping our balance. This brings me to another topic, which was interestingly enough brought up in my Soul Discovery group today. One of our friends in Soul Discovery group had asked a question regarding some energy work that she was doing. And I did bring up the example of Chloe and her physical ailments that she was having after doing all of this clearing in South America. And I had basically stated that it was not a surprise to me that she was having all of these physical ailments based on the fact that she had done so much clearing work in such a short amount of time. And our friend in the Soul Discovery group had said, well, yes, of course, because what I can see in her energy field are a whole bunch of energetic holes, if you will, that need to be repaired or filled. And it makes perfect sense to be described that way because essentially you're healing or removing the parts of your energy field that are no longer serving you, but they do need to be repaired and recalibrated, if you will, in order to move forward in a complete and whole energy. And so this is where having practitioners such as Reiki healers and that sort of thing can really be helpful after you do some serious clearing work. Now, it's up to you what type of practitioner you use in terms of the energy healing, but it is something that is important. And I'm so glad that came up in our Soul Discovery group conversation today, because it was something that I had forgotten about. It was a piece that I had forgotten about in terms of what is important when you're doing this kind of work. Now, you might intrinsically know after you do a particular clearing or you're done with a dark night of the soul that your body just might feel like you really need to clear your energy, and you might naturally go and do that anyway. If you don't, then it is something to definitely check in on. If you go through a particularly rough energetic upgrade and you had a lot of purging, you might want to check in on your energy field to see how you're doing and to see if there's any recalibrating that needs to happen. I also want to mention to all of you that Soul Discovery Group is open for everyone. It is a group of like-minded souls, and we meet once a month for a 2-hour call where you can bring all of your questions. Any questions about the universe or anything, your spiritual awakening, anything that's going on with you right now, And I answer those questions in that 2-hour call. You get a channeled message as well every month, in addition to being able to be on a Telegram group with all the rest of the souls that are in Soul Discovery Group. If that interests you, you can head to my website and you can click on the homepage where it says Soul Discovery Group, and you can join for just €35 per month. You can get some of the support you may need on this journey, because one of the things that I find to be incredibly helpful is to talk to others and see where they are and what they might be experiencing. And it helps to know when there are collective energies going on. So you can know that, okay, I'm not the only one that is going through this. It helps to be the observer of something. And this is something that Chloe and I talked about, which is the ability to observe while your life is crumbling around you potentially. And this has happened many times to me over the course of my life, even before I would consider that my spiritual awakening started. These types of things happen all the time, where things that no longer serve you start falling away from your life. Now you can hold on really tightly to those things, hold on to that grief and that pain, and really resist the leaving of whatever that is, whether it is a relationship, a job, a way of life, a home, money, whatever it is. You can resist it and it will persist. There's a reason why that saying is so popular. What you do resist persists. You will continue to be in that lack mentality. You will continue to be in that fear, pain, grief until you are able to let go. And when you're able to let go and observe from a higher perspective and watch it unfold, almost like you're watching a television show. You're watching some story unfold before you. You might be able to see different perspectives that you haven't seen before. You might be able to see something that makes a lot more sense given the context of being the observer. There's a reason why we have to talk to other people, other practitioners, friends about some of the things that we're going through, because sometimes we're just so stuck in our own minds, in our own experiences, that we can't get far enough away from them in order to see it from that outside observer perspective. It does take practice. It takes practice to be able to do this. As Chloe was looking at her life sort of falling apart, she saw that she no longer has the job that she used to have. But she's happy about it because she knows that that job was no longer aligned. She's having challenges in her relationship. She's having challenges with her physical body. All of the things that she sees as crumbling towers, if you will. She has to be able to look at them and recognize that maybe they need to fall. One of the examples of this is the collective energy after the pandemic. So many people, after being quiet and still, went back to their jobs and realized that they did not want to do them. They did not want to go into an office. They did not want to do the things that they were doing or be the person that they were in those jobs. Many people decided they didn't want to be in the relationships that they were in. When you take time to be quiet, to go within, and to do the energetic work that you need to do, inevitably, there will be things that you decide you don't want to have in your experience anymore. And you can't have it both ways. You can't decide to not have them in your life anymore, but yet still want to hold on to them. So you have to let go with trust and faith that the flow of your life will continue forward and new things will pop up in their place, that your life will unfold before you in the exact way that it needs to. If you have fears surrounding that, those fears can be addressed. Now, this does not mean that you just sit back and wait for things to happen. Of course, you have to take action of some sort in order to follow your next path. It is about following that next step that you need to take, that your guides are showing you. So now let's talk about someone pulling away from you during these times. There are times when you know things need to fall away, but maybe you have people in your life that you don't want to leave. Or maybe you have a job that you really love that you lost. that you didn't want to go. That's another side of this energy. There are times when the universe will take away the things that we love in order for us to not be so dependent on them. Sometimes the universe will give us an experience of not having a particular person in our life so we can stand on our own 2 feet, move out of codependency like we were talking about with Chloe. So then maybe that person can either come back into our life or show up for us in a different way, where we can have better communication, where we can love unconditionally, or maybe somebody new will come into your life to allow you to have that new experience of unconditional love. Just because it's something that we want to hold on to doesn't necessarily mean that it is the best thing for us. Sometimes the universe knows different. Sometimes our guides and our soul know better, that there is something waiting for us that's even better than what we have currently, but we're so scared to let go that we don't actually move into the new energy. So make sure that if something is moving away from you, if somebody is pulling away, even if it doesn't mean that you're going to break up. In the case with Chloe, that certainly was not the case. She just felt her boyfriend's energy sort of pulling away when she was in these moments. Allow it to happen and ask yourself, what do I need to look at in this space? What do I need to address? What emotions are coming up for me? Eventually, the ebb and flow of divine feminine, divine masculine energy always comes back around. The give and take, those magnetic energies that pull each other together, and then the magnetic energies that repel each other. It's all cyclical. When you're practicing all of these things to be able to keep your state while you're in, let's say, harsh energies, crumbling energies, energies of great change, one of the things that is important to remember is to stay open-hearted. We are often taught, especially as children, that when somebody hurts you, you close your heart and you shut the door on their energy and you move on. The amount of times that I've heard this from people on social media saying, oh, this person did that, shut the door, never speak to them again, block them, do this, do that. That is not being open-hearted. Being open-hearted does not mean you let anyone in. Being open-hearted with discernment means you are always keeping your heart open, but you trust yourself and your own discernment to allow people in that are good for you, to allow situations that are good for you. And anything else that is not aligned for you does not get your time or attention. That is how you stay open-hearted. Now, oftentimes we need to have a little chat with our inner child, because our inner child and our great protector that we have will often say, I don't trust you to be discerning. So that blocking or that closing off of energy needs to happen because I don't trust you to not turn it off. Because I don't trust you to keep your heart open and have that discernment. Keep in mind that this is something that may have been active in your energy field with your inner child, your higher self, and all of your protectors for a very long time. So make sure you nurture that part of you. Talk to that part of you. Find out where you are closing off your energy and ask how you can be more open-hearted. The last topic I want to discuss is about astral projection. There is something that also came up in my conversations in Soul Discovery Group this week that had to do with astral projecting. And one of the things that came up was about protecting your energy throughout astral projecting. One of our friends in Soul Discovery Group astral travels often, and she was saying that she protects her energy and clears her energy right before she goes to sleep. The one thing that came through in the channel during that particular moment was that not only does she need to protect her energy in the physical, in her physical body here on Earth, but she also needs to set the intention for protection of her energy, her soul, through all parts of space, time, reality, and dimension. Because as we astral travel, we're going all kinds of places. And to be able to protect our energy throughout the course of the process, from the time that our soul leaves this earth plane to go elsewhere and then back, we need to set the intention that our energy field is going to be protected during that entire process. I just wanted to add that extra little tidbit of information because I think it is important to mention. Thank you so much for listening this week, and I really can't wait to connect with you again next week on Wednesday. If you're enjoying this podcast, it would be really amazing if you could like, share, and subscribe. Wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Apple or Spotify, feel free to give it a review if you feel called. If you are following me on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you are notified for every single new episode of the Akashic Recordings. If you feel called to book a session with me, you can always reach me at infinitesoullove.com, and you can book directly on my website. Thank you so much for all of your support, and I can't wait to connect with you next week.